Okay, in today's video, I decided that I want to give you an 18 months English study plan. A year and a half English study plan. This plan that I will be giving you will be 100% based on my experience, based on my English learning way, okay? In order to give you a backstory of my English level at the time, when I first started learning English 7 years ago, my level was a beginner. I always told you guys in my videos, like I wasn't able to make basic sentences. I wasn't able to say like, I'm gonna go out tonight. I'm gonna go out to meet up with my friends. We're gonna have a drink, I won't be able to say those basic things, okay? That was my level. So basically my level was at the time, I was literally a beginner, so I couldn't even say the most basic and necessary things in English. I want to keep this in mind. I didn't take any help about learning English. I didn't take any course, I didn't take any private lesson. I just learned English by myself in this room. So basically, I didn't go abroad so far. I've never been abroad so far, so I didn't have any friends that I can practice my English with, any native English speaker friends. I just got to that point where I am right now, just by myself, studying and practicing by myself. So this is what you need to understand, okay? 7 years ago, I was trying to figure out how to learn English by myself. And many people, you might hear this most of the time. Many people say that watch movies, watch TV shows in English and watch them with first English subtitles and without English subtitles, etc. So this is how you can improve your English. I did those things, but the things didn't work for me, because when it comes to improving speaking skill, like how can you improve your speaking skill just by watching TV shows and movies? So it didn't make sense to me. So one day it struck me casually, out of nowhere. When I was watching Friends, I got this desire to download the subtitles of Friends and get these subtitles of Friends, get the scripts of Friends, and study with those scripts. So basically, these are the subtitles of Friends from the first season, from the first 15 episodes of Friends. These are the subtitles of Friends. This is where my life has changed. Now, the thing is, when it comes to my methods, my way of learning English, there is only one method: learn English with scripts. What I mean by learn English with scripts, there are two ways of learning English with scripts. The first thing, when it comes to learning English with scripts, you can learn English with movies and TV shows. In order to learn English with TV shows and movies, you're gonna go to this website and you're gonna download the subtitles of the movie or of the TV show that you're watching, and you're gonna get the scripts of these movies and TV shows. Well, you're gonna sit in your chair, you're gonna read those lines, you're gonna check those lines, you're gonna check and see if there is any words that you don't know. And if there are any words that you don't know the meaning of those words, you're gonna look them up, you're gonna take a note, you're gonna write down the meanings of those words, and then after you're done with this process, after you're done with checking the meaning of those words that you don't know, you're gonna get your script and you're gonna start to practice.
I think actually the real question is what she's done to Waldron.
Hiding in his locker there.
Come on, spit it out. You shifted her. No.
I think the real question is what she's done to Waldron. I think the real question is what she's done to Waldron. Come on, spit it out. You shifted her. This is the way of learning English with movies and TV shows. There is also another way of learning English. And the second method that I have for learning English is learn English with YouTubers. Learn English with YouTube videos, learn English with vloggers. What I do in order to learn English with vloggers and YouTubers, for instance, Kennedy is one of my favorite YouTubers that I can learn English with, that I learned English with. For instance, I watch Kennedy's video and I get the script of those, I get the subtitles of those video, and I start to practice with those videos. You copy paste the scripts in your Word file and you get the scripts and you check and see if there are any words that you don't know, and after you're done with this process, you get your scripts and you start to practice.
Those of you who have 20/20 vision, count your blessings, because wearing contacts, it's awful.
Those of you who have 20/20 vision, count your blessings.
Like, that feels horrible.
That feels horrible.
I had a very fun weekend.
Some might say a little too fun.
I had a really fun weekend. Some might say a little too fun. Today is Monday, it's the start of a new week. Now basically, that is my methods, right? Learn English with scripts. Now the thing is, when it comes to learning language with scripts, there is a way of learning English with scripts. And this is the method that I came up with, okay? During my English learning process, I tested out many things. and I try to understand the most efficient way of learning English with scripts. There are two rules when it comes to learning English with scripts. The first rule is learning English with script is not about reading the lines. Okay, when it comes to learning English with scripts, you're not gonna read the lines. You need to keep this in mind. If you're gonna read something, then you can get your book and you can read something. But practicing with script is not about reading. Practicing with script is all about acting. What I mean by that is, for instance, this is the second episode from Friends. You know, these are my scripts from 7 years ago. Your purpose, your goal is to repeat the lines without looking at the scripts. For instance, this is the second episode from Friends from the first season. Monica says,
What you guys don't understand is, for us, kissing is as important as any part of it.
Yeah, right. Serious?
what you guys don't understand is, for us, kissing is as important as any part of it. You read this line and you say this line. What you guys don't understand is, for us, kissing is as important as any part of it. This is your goal. Once you repeat the line correctly without making a mistake, you can move on to the next line. That is your goal. You try to repeat the lines without looking at the script.
Are you through with that?
Yeah, sorry, the swallowing slowed me down.
Are you through with that? Yeah, sorry, the swallowing slowed me down. Are you through with that? Yeah, sorry, the swallowing slowed me down. So that is your ultimate goal. The first rule, you repeat the lines without looking at the scripts. The second rule is cycle method. What is cycle method? Cycle method is, for instance, Friends is 20 minutes long episode, okay?
Okay, I know it's a cheap shot, but I feel so much better now.
Now, when it comes to learning English with TV shows, you need to follow a cycle. What is cycle method? Let's assume that I'm gonna practice for 40 minutes. I start a timer and I'm gonna practice for 40 minutes. Now, I start from the first line. What you guys don't understand is, for us, kissing is as important as any part of it. What you guys don't understand is, for us, kissing is as important as any part of it. Yeah, right. You serious? Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. You serious? Oh, yeah. I do this practice, okay? I do this practice until I get to minute 5. That's because as far as my parents are concerned, Rose can do no wrong. That's because as far as my parents are concerned, Rose can do no wrong. When I reach that this line, I'm not gonna move on to the next line. I'm gonna go back to the beginning. If I have time, I'm gonna go back to the beginning, okay? And I'm gonna start all over again. Until my time is up, okay? Until this 40 minutes is over.
What you guys don't understand is, for us, kissing is as important as any part of it.
Yeah, right.
Serious?
What you guys don't understand is, for us, kissing is as important as any part of it. What you guys don't understand is, for us, kissing is as important as any part of it. And I'm gonna go take a coffee break, okay? I'm gonna watch something while I'm having my coffee. Perhaps, I'm gonna watch Friends, okay? Because I need to expose myself to the same episode again and again. I'm gonna take 15 minutes coffee break. And then after my coffee break, I'm gonna get back to practicing. And I'm gonna practice for another 40 minutes, okay? And I'm gonna only work on the first 5 minutes of the day per day. Basically, I'm gonna be practicing on the first 5 minutes of the episode per day, okay? So in this case, I need to finish one episode in 4 days, right? First 5 minutes today, the second 5 minutes tomorrow, another 5 minutes the day after tomorrow, and another 5 minutes the last day. So basically, you finish one episode in 4 days, okay? Say you finished the episode, right? It took you like 4 days to finish the first episode. And then you're not gonna move on to the second episode, okay? You're not gonna move on to second episode. You're gonna start to work on this episode one more time. So this is what we call cycle method. But instead of working on like the first 5 minutes episode per day, you're gonna work on the 7 minutes of the episode per day. So that means this time you're gonna finish the episode in 3 days, okay? My point is, work on the same episode for a week, for an entire week. This is what helps you to learn words and improve your speaking skill in the most efficient way. I spent 6 months only working on the 15th episode of Friends. After working with the first 15 episodes of Friends, I started feeling more confident in myself, you know. I started feeling more confident. The reason why is because I was so insecure about speaking English. I always thought that I won't be able to speak English at all. And at some point, after practicing with friends for like 6 months, I was like, okay, I guess I can speak English, because it's at the end of the 6 months, I was like, I started making sentences. Now you're done. You get to that point where you start making sentences, you start to speak English. What's next for you? You will see that at the end of 6 months, you start to speak English, but the problem is, with friends, you can improve your vocabulary to only some extent, right? To only a certain degree. So I was like, at the end of 6 months, I was like, okay, Arsan, you need to keep improving your vocabulary, you need to learn new words. And then this is when I decided to practice with House of Cards. Now, if you look at House of Cards, these are the subtitles from House of Cards. The reason why I've chosen House of Cards is because there were so many political words in House of Cards, business words in House of Cards, like board meeting, majority whip, you know, things like that, president-elect inauguration. So basically, House of Cards was this TV show was a great way for me to improve my vocabulary while improving my speaking skill.
You'll help her.
Tom, I am your chief political correspondent.
Go! I want this by tomorrow.
But I need to focus on the inauguration.
Now, just because I practice with House of Cards, you don't have to choose and practice with House of Cards. You can choose your own TV show in order to improve your speaking skill and in order to expand your vocabulary. I work on like the 8th episode of House of Cards, and I work on like the House of Cards, I guess, for like 4 months.
Look, Steve is going to file a report on the car, and he'll put his people on it. We'll track them down.
Look, Steve is gonna file the report on the car and he'll put his people on it. Look, Steve is gonna file the report on the car and he'll put his people on it. Look, Steve is gonna file the report on the car and he'll put his people on it. We'll track them down.
Stunning. Shall we?
You look stunning. Shall we? You look stunning. Shall we? Okay, so basically I was practicing with House of Cards. I practiced with House of Cards for like 4 months. And so basically I spent like first 10 months practicing with Friends and House of Cards. Now the thing is, when you learn English, instead of practicing with Friends, you can practice with How I Met Your Mother, or you can practice with another TV show. But make sure that as a beginner, you practice with a TV show that is kind of like sitcom, you know? It's so important to consume a TV show that has like the daily dialogues in it. So basically Friends is a perfect way of learning English for beginners. And then pick a TV show that you like. You don't have to practice with House of Cards. You can pick your own favorite TV show, whatever TV show that you want to practice, but spend like the first 10 months of practicing with TV shows. Okay, that was the first step. What is the second step? Now, after practicing with House of Cards, I started practicing with The Crown. I work on like the first 10 episode of Crown, but I'm not going to recommend you practice with Crown. Instead of practicing with Crown, I will directly recommend you to start practicing with YouTube videos. How to practice with YouTube videos? Obviously, you're not going to watch the YouTube videos and just do shadowing with the videos. This is not what you're going to do. You're going to get the scripts of YouTube videos and you're going to practice with those videos. What I mean by that is, for instance, Kennedy Walsh, okay? She's a Native American speaker. Basically, it's a great way to practice with Kennedy. And there are so many vlogs of her, or if you can practice with Emma Chamberlain, like she has tons of vlogs on her channel. So you can get those videos, you can get the subtitles of those videos, and you can start to practice with those videos. What I mean by that is,
a year ago, I absolutely hated doing things alone and spent probably like 99% of my time in my apartment. I got my groceries delivered.
A year ago, I absolutely hated doing things alone. A year ago, I absolutely hated doing things alone, and I spent probably 99% of my time alone in my apartment. I got my groceries delivered.
Now I really try to overcome that fear.
Now I really try to overcome that fear, and now I really try to overcome that fear. Now, this is how you practice with YouTubers. And the most important thing, I highly recommend you to learn English with the vloggers. Because when you practice with vloggers, you will get a better insight into their daily life. And our daily life are not very different from each other most of the time. Like, you know, we use the same things. I'm gonna go grocery shopping. There's things that I need to do, you know.
So what I'm thinking today is I need to go grocery shopping. There's things I need to do.
Like, I'm gonna go take a walk and I'm pulling into garage.
I'm pulling into the garage.
I'm pulling into garage. Like, you know, you're gonna pull into garage. You're gonna go grocery shopping. We most of the time do the same things in our lives. So basically, learn English with vloggers will help you to improve your daily speech in the most efficient way. Most importantly, you're gonna see the real original way that native speakers speak. You know, this is the 100% original way that Americans speak, for instance. You pick a sitcom and you practice with the sitcom for like 6 months. And then the rest of the year, for like 3 months or 5 months, you pick a TV show that you can expand your vocabulary drastically. And then after the first year, you start to practice with YouTubers. That might be vloggers, Emma Chamberlain, Kennedy. You get the subtitles of those YouTube videos and you practice with those videos for like another 6 months. Okay, for like 6 months you practice with YouTubers. Now, while you're practicing with YouTubers, there is another thing that is very important for improving speaking skill. Now, at the end of the first year, when I first started learning English, I was very shy. I was very embarrassed. I was always avoiding stranger foreigners on the subway. You know, in air touristic area, like, you know, anytime I will see a foreigner, I will directly run away from them so that, you know, they won't be able to ask me questions in English for an address, because I was so shy. I wouldn't be able to say like, I won't be able to say anything. All I was able to say like, I can speak English, because I was stuttering. I was so nervous. But at the end of the first year, after practicing English by myself, I got this courage. I gained this courage. I got this desire to constantly speak English with people. But honestly, I didn't have money. I was broke. So I didn't have money to use those tools or applications where, you know, you can practice your English with native American speakers or British speakers, native English speakers. So I thought to myself, okay, since I don't have anyone that I can practice with English, I was in the university at this time. I told one of my friends, like, you know, do you want me to teach you English? And I started voluntarily teaching English to a few friends of mine, so that, you know, I will be helping them for improving their speaking skill, for improving their English, and at the same time, I will be practicing my English, and I will gain more and more courage to speak with people in English. So this is what I did. The second year, I started teaching my friends English voluntarily, so that I could help them to learn English and I could practice my English. The second year, make sure that you find someone that might be your friend. Find someone that you can have practice, you can have conversation in English, you can practice in English. Okay? Try or voluntarily teach someone English. Try to teach someone English voluntarily. While you're teaching English, try to speak English. Okay? So this is what I did, so that I can improve my teaching skills, I can improve my speaking skill, I can practice my English, I can speak more and more in English, and also at the end of the day, I was, you know, I was helping my friends to learn and improve their English. So this is what I did the second year while I was practicing with YouTubers, and this is how I recommend you to spend your first 18 months. Okay, so what can you do after the 18 months? Where will you be at the end of like 18 months? Now, learning language processing and this process. At this point, my recommendation for you is you're gonna pinpoint your goals in life and you're gonna work towards your goals. Once you stop using the language, you will get rusty. So you don't have a luxury to stop using language. You have two choices, you have two options at the end of the 18 months. You will either keep practicing by yourself with TV shows and movies and YouTube videos as much as you possibly can, or you will make friends where you will make native English speaker friends where you can constantly practice English with them, or you will get a job where this job requires you to speak English. Well, in order to not lose your ability to speak another language, you need to keep using this language. Okay, so at the end of the 18 months, you will get to that point where you speak English very comfortably. You will gain this confidence. But at the end of the 8th month, just because you speak English, you don't have an option to stop using the language. Okay? Because if you stop using English, you will get rusty in that language. Okay guys, before you start your English learning journey, I highly recommend you go and watch those 4 videos on my channel. If you want to get a better insight into my English learning journey and understand and see every single details of my English learning journey, I highly recommend you go watch those videos that are very important. And after watching those 4 videos, you'll be 100% ready for your English learning journey. Okay, so this is all you need to know. This is all you need to know in order to learn a language. So this is what I do in order to keep improving myself so that I don't get rusty in English. I constantly keep practicing by myself, and I will keep practicing until I go abroad and start a new life there. So I will never stop. I can't stop, you know. Practice English with scripts. Don't ignore the cycle methods. Always practice with scripts without reading the scripts. Try to repeat lines without looking at the scripts. Follow the cycle method and do shadowing at the end of the every night. And also when you go outside, when you take a walk, expose yourself to the same episodes, same speech again and again. If you're learning English with friends, for instance, download the episode of Friends to your phone and listen to the same episode again and again. That's all I wanted to say in this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video with my Learn English Diaries. Bye bye.